Hello there, friends! The American, Asian and European Groups A at the RMR tournament for the Blast Paris Major have come to an end. Let's quickly summarize the past groups. But today I also decided to pay more attention to the news. S1MPLE got in touch and gave a ton of content on his Telegram channel all night long. Let's discuss their conflict with Overdrive, what S1MPLE thinks about Boombl4's, VP replacements, his ex-girlfriend Arinan and many other news. It will be interesting. Let's get straight to it. As always, let's start with the CS2 news. People continue to study the code of the new game and are increasingly convinced that Valve has left the 64th tick rate and just improved it a little and gave it a new name. One blogger even managed to run his server on 128 tick rate, so it seems that different apps like Faceit won't go anywhere. They will simply have their own servers that will be able to register hits even better than now, but so far this is all theoretical. But what's more important is that hitboxes have been fixed. As you know, different agents have different hitboxes in CSGO, making it easier to hit some models and harder to hit others. So this YouTuber Ansimist checked how things are in CS2, and it turned out to be okay. Regardless of the agent, all hitboxes are the same, and perhaps because of this, hitting targets become much more pleasant and accurate. But the most interesting thing about CS2 is that data miners are already finding various tools for content. For example, GameFall were found mocking animations. They're likely needed for Danger Zone. A YouTuber called Molecularnik even managed to launch this game mode, although it's not available in the beta. He also made his own agent, and all of this is in the beta. Imagine how many tools will appear when the game is officially released. However, for now, everyone has to play Dust 2 for the 1000th time. As the community noticed, there is a strong outflow of the audience from the CS2 beta. People there simply have nothing to do. There is no ranking, so people calmly leave the game during the match. Everyone is just having fun, no one sweats. And CS2 on Twitch is no longer watched by almost anyone because of this. So everyone is basically waiting for a new big batch of beta version invites, or maybe some updates, new game modes, or new maps finally. Yesterday, S1MPLE decided to chat with his subscribers on Telegram. At first, he said that once his channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, he will give away 3 Dragon Lures worth a total of $30,000. Then S1MPLE answered questions from the community, and here they are in order. What was your reaction to Boombl4's leaving, and what was your position when the decision was made? My reaction was obvious, as the whole team's. It was adequate. We knew Kirill messed up, you know. What will happen after Na'Vi? Do you want to play in international teams? I don't know what will happen after Na'Vi. I want to be with them until the end, but sometimes I'm interested in how I could perform in an international team. It's a completely different experience. How did you stop being very toxic in the team? I worked very seriously on myself, and it affected all of my actions. And finally, S1MPLE talked about his relationships with his ex-girlfriend, Arinan.
Я никогда не говорил о своей личной жизни, но в моей жизни есть люди, которые изменили мою жизнь. Полностью изменили мой подход к жизни, к моему отношению и к киберспорту, и вообще в целом. И одна из этих девушек — это Арина Бердникова. Что бы она ни говорила на стриме, как бы она севала на стриме, вы даже не представляете, какой она человек в жизни, насколько она порядочная, верная и просто охуенная девушка, которая полностью поменяла мою жизнь и направила меня на правильный путь. Не важно, что произошло с нами в прошлом, но этот человек, он изменил мою жизнь. Это человек, которому я безгранично благодарен. Насчет Арины хотел рассказать. Мы как-то играли квалификацию. Раньше же были поинты, ты получал поинты, чтобы пройти на мажор. И там был старладер RMR. И мы с нижней сетки играли против Гамбит. Сейчас это Cloud9. В финале этой квалификации. И мы вели 0-1, так как мы с нижней сетки, они автоматом получали автовин. И мы проигрываем Ancient 0-2. Я выхожу, а я тогда жил с Ариной у нее дома. В Москве это тогда было. Я выхожу злой 0-2, и она мне говорит, я запомнил эти слова, она говорит, ну и что? Типа, и что случилось? Давай, соберись, подбери команду, и вы выиграете. И мы просто с 0-2 квалификации, которую никогда никто не выигрывал с 0-2, мы выиграем 3-2. Мы выиграем эти квалы и проходим сразу на мажор. И я понимаю, насколько тогда поддержка ее влияла на меня. Я тогда был очень злой, выходил, она мне так легко объясняла это, что я думал, блин, Ты действительно права.
And lastly, a heart-wrenching message from him that he posted on his Telegram when he was congratulating his mom on her birthday after the war had started.
Мамуль, с днем рождения тебя. С днем рождения, я тебя так люблю. Мне так обидно, что я сейчас не с вами. И я так хочу, чтобы мы встретились в следующий раз. Со всеми. Я желаю только тебе самого хорошего. Желаю тебе здоровья. И надеюсь, совсем скоро все закончится.
Well, let's wish Simple and his family good health. And now let's slowly move to the RMR. Unfortunately, we have some unpleasant news about the organization of the tournament. For example, the Mongolians from IHC have found themselves in a very strange situation. They registered for the RMR under the tag the Mongols. Everyone thought it was a rebranding or a change of organization, but in fact it wasn't. After this, IHC released a statement saying that they had no idea what was going on and only found out that their team was going under a different tag when the news came from Blast, and they mobilized all their resources, managers and so on to figure out what had happened. That's some unusual drama from the Asian RMR. One team left, another team arrived. In general, there are just a bunch of problems associated with this RMR. For example, Brazilian Zeus said that the championship organization is currently at a very weak level. Their flight was cancelled and no one met them at the airport. On the first day there were a lot of technical problems and matches were delayed for hours, even being rescheduled for the next day. All of this is what we're used to see from ESL and PGL, but definitely not from Blast. They've gotta be the good guys, right? And meanwhile, Blast themselves went ahead and formed a partnership with alcoholic beverages, with whiskey and vodka logos appearing on the broadcasts. Well, these are actually some serious sponsors, and people say that the pro scene is dying. I feel like after such a collaboration, all the expenses will be quickly recouped. And now let's move on to the results of the teams at RMR. The fight for a spot in the last CSGO major turned out to be particularly tough, and of course there were some surprises. Let's start with Group A in Europe. The list of legends turned out to be the most unpredictable. Of all the teams, only Na'Vi made it to the legends as expected, and they did it confidently with a score of 3-0, defeating FaZe 2-0, who just yesterday won the EPL and the Intel Grand Slam on top of that. It was a huge surprise. And do you know who was the key to their success? Young NPL. And that's the first surprise. Prior to this tournament, NPL didn't particularly shine in the team. Even the community calculated, and it turned out that he was the worst player in Navi's history. His rating in CSGO was lower than Senya's. He was worse than Boombl4's and Zeus. Only the former coach of the team, Kane, was worse than NPL. He played as a substitute for Navi a couple of times and had a rating of 0.42. But that was all before this tournament. At RMR, the young player stepped up his game, and so far he's the best player of the tournament with a rating of 1.34. Thanks to his performance in this tournament, he surpassed Senya, and now Senya is the worst player in Navi's history. NPL is now not the worst, and we congratulate him on that. He also gave a brief interview.
And talk me through your performance, man. You're playing so good now, lights out Counter-Strike, really seen you make a difference, but you know, at times things were a little bit all over the place for yourself. How have you turned it around for yourself personally?
Maybe because I can understand what we are doing now. I mean, I'm not that scared that I was, for example, and a lot of ideas that Blade and Electronic want to do, I understand them easily right now than it was before.
Then he continued in a text format on HLTV, but there was nothing particularly interesting there. The team was slightly surprised that they had to play against FaZe Clan, although they should have had an easier opponent, but now they made it to the last major in CSGO history and really want to win it. Regarding Vertigo, he said that Navi is ready to play it, especially NPL himself. They have been practicing it, but they just don't have official matches on it yet. And lastly, about Navi, after qualifying for the Legends stage, Simple wrote, "Mourning for the haters, Navi is back at the major." And this is truly a historic achievement. Natus Vincere is the only organization that has been in all CSGO majors, and now it will forever be in history. Simple himself spoke about this in an interview before the match.
What would it mean to you to play, you know, the final CSGO major? What does it mean to you, being the GOAT? How does it feel to be part of the final CSGO major?
It means that Navi is gonna be on all majors in CSGO.
and it will mean a lot. It's gonna be one and only organization that's gonna be on all majors, hopefully.
Next up in the Legends stage with a score of 3-0 was Fnatic. This was an unexpected result, but to be completely honest, their opponents were not among the favorites of the group. One win, Viperio and B8. Even the less stable Fnatic should have been able to go 3-0 against such opponents, and that's exactly what they did. By the way, for a true veteran of CS, Crims, this will be 16th major. This is an impressive achievement and a unique record. Closing our list of legends are Into the Breach and Bad News Eagles. These teams were definitely not expected to make it this far. Into the Breach even became the first British team in major history, and we congratulate the guys on that. As for Eagles, it was unbelievable, but they've done it again. What's even more incredible is how they did it. They beat FaZe 2-0 again. The B&E fairy tale continues, and all we can do is wish the guys good luck. Next, we have the slots for the Challengers stage, and any team, even the outsiders of the group, could have made it. Nevertheless, Gamer Legion, Apex, OG and Mouse managed to make it to the Challengers. It's worth noting that OG made a comeback from 0-2, and all this was done without Nexa. Hopefully, this success will give them confidence, and OG will show some results in the late stages of CSGO. And now, a few words about those who were eliminated. As expected, Viperio, Saw and Sprout were among them. Unfortunately, Boombl4's team 1win was also eliminated with a score of 1-3. But what's most surprising is the elimination of Virtus.pro. The story that the team managed to get into is no less shocking. We're talking about the sudden replacement of Chiron with Norbert. What happened and why did it happen? In fact, it's not entirely clear. In the official announcement, it was said that Norbert has more experience and Chiron has not fully adapted yet. Okay, but why make such conclusions before the deciding match in RMR? Then there were rumors that it was because Chiron's visa had expired and they had to urgently call Norbert. Allegedly, VP planned to finish 3-0 and calmly go home, but then everything went wrong. Chiron immediately posted on his social media that his visa doesn't expire until tomorrow and it was a tactical decision, not a forced one. However, he deleted the statement a few minutes later. Everyone is in shock from such decisions. Analysts on Twitter criticized VP, asking how they could do such a thing before a key group match. And according to statistics, Chiron is significantly ahead of Norbert. It seems more like some kind of a conflict within the team than a coaching decision. There are no other thoughts. And then VP released a video on their YouTube channel that answered some questions.
Мы хотели бороться за титулы с тир-1 командами. Выходит так, что мы даже не можем выйти на эти тир-1 ивенты. Сейчас, на данный момент, вот конкретно в этот день, можно сказать, что замена была ошибочной. Мы не усилились никак, чтобы нынешний наш состав заиграл. Нам надо много времени, чтобы Кайрон на этих ролях освоился.
Минуту назад было принято очень важное решение, что Давид заменит Кайрона в команде и прилетит сюда, в Копенгаген, доигрывать последние игры РМР. Очень надеемся, что это поможет нам достичь лучших результатов.
But, well, it actually became even more confusing. So, James is unhappy with the replacement, although he himself orchestrated it. Norbert was kicked out for no reason and then they brought him back. Now they have two players who are clearly not in the best mood. We recall that Chiron refused Boombl4 to join VP. In my opinion, this is the strangest replacement during the tournament. And obviously, all of this didn't help, and the reigning champions of the major in Rio didn't qualify for the next major. This raises even more questions for fans. Why did James do all of this within the team? There are theories that the coach and captain are the ones to make all the decisions, and the team is not even aware of it. And judging by some strange decisions, it seems to be true. But you know what is more surprising? According to Blast journalists, VP prohibited asking their players questions about Norbert and Chiron. Finally, after all this confusion, the CEO of the organization spoke out and said the following. Why was the decision made to replace Chiron with Norbert? Because the results of 2 out of 3 first matches in the RMR were unacceptable for Virtus.pro. Therefore, the decision to replace was made by coaching staff and agreed with the club management. It is fair to point out that Chiron's key D ratio during the tournament was the best of the entire team, 1.05, but it's also fair to say that CSGO is a team game where interaction, communication, coordination and other similar factors are more important than personal skill. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to organically integrate Kayron into this complex mechanism, and the pressure of responsibility at RMR only made the situation worse. Therefore, we decided to take a risk and urgently call Norbert for the remaining matches, but unfortunately we made too many mistakes in the first 2 game days. Did visa issues cause the replacement? As should be clear from the previous answer, no. What will happen to the team and the active roster? The team will prepare for the upcoming tournaments, the first of which will be IEM Rio 2023. You will find out in the near future in what composition we will go there. And the last question was about banning players from making comments about the replacement. Currently, the team is in a situation where it is necessary to concentrate on identifying the reasons for the unsuccessful performance and finding ways to solve the problems that have arisen. It would be more appropriate if the players are less distracted by the media, social networks and comments during these days. We have no secrets from our fans, but right now the team really needs peace and quiet. Okay. The community's reaction was also mixed. Here's what Overdrive says.
Вы читали обращение Николая Петросяна по итогам РМР? Лучше бы он анекдот рассказал, у него фамилия под это больше подходит.
And here's what Simple thinks.
Просто в топ скажу, что организация Outsiders, менеджмент поступают как полные куски дерьма. Представьте, поменять игрока на 1-2 за вылет мажору, взять свою замену, купить ему билеты и все равно проебать. Сначала придумать отмазку, что это документы, а потом сказать, что у человека какие-то нервы. Вчера мы только общались, я с Амирадом стояли на курилке, подошел Кайрон и спрашиваю, что у тебя какие-то нервы или еще что-то, документы делаю. Говорит, а нет, команда так решила, что мне еще сделать? Я думаю, крутая у тебя команда, хорошие персонажи собрались. В общем, что я имею в виду? Подписывать контракт с Outsiders, максимум на год. Иначе эта организация, если ее можно так назвать, тебя сожрет. Организация, которая ничего не добилась в последние 5 лет. Организация, которая только за счет польского состава вывезла в CSGO. Такое отношение к игрокам, но оно неприемлемо. Как ты можешь подписывать просто сделку с сатаной? Разве это правильно по-человечески или нет?
So, Kayron is shocked that he was removed from the team, and it's unclear how they will perform in the upcoming tournament. Twitter is already making jokes about the situation. They won a major and made a surprising substitution. James personally called Kayron the main talent of the future several times on HLTV. Then, with the new team, they reached the quarterfinals of IEM Katowice and the playoffs of EPL, both times losing to Navi. Perhaps, if not for this kryptonite, they would have gone further in the championships. These are honestly decent results, but apparently not good enough for VP's management. I think you shouldn't expect great results from the team in the near future. As many have said, Kayron is not the easiest guy to deal with, and it's unknown how will he take this substitution. Is it okay for Norbert to be a backup player? I wouldn't be surprised if both he and Kayron leave the team. What do you guys think? Or am I exaggerating and everything will be fine? Moving on, there are 3 teams left that haven't qualified for the major yet, but haven't been eliminated either. Yes, that's right, it's Blast, and there's still a last chance bracket. B8, Falcons and FaZe Clan made it to this bracket. The first 2 teams aren't surprising, but these are some nervous times for FaZe Clan fans. As I said before, FaZe lost to Navi for the first time, then to BNE, and their third decisive defeat was at the hands of Mouse. I can't say that FaZe played poorly, no, it's just that Mouse seems to want it a little bit more. Xertion's 80 frags were the key driving force behind the team. Kerrigan's tactics couldn't stop such a strong performance. Perhaps mentally, the fact that FaZe will have another chance in the last chance bracket got to them a little bit. Twists was so angry that he even dropped his monitor. Raps, though, was a bit quieter. He made a tweet and went to prepare for the last chance bracket, and Kerrigan promised to do everything in his power to get that last slot. So the main hero of Mouse, Xertion, said, "I felt great from the moment I got out of bed. I have a mindset when I want to to play CS, and I remember when I joined Mouse, we played a lot of practice matches against FaZe, and I wanted to beat them in an official match because they're the best team in the world. They played very well, and I'm satisfied with my individual performance, our system, and the results. We have a very simple problem. We play very well against good teams, but we have problems against low-ranked teams. And here are the words of Dexter. Probably the most insane game I've ever played in my life. We made it to the fucking major. I am so fucking proud. We played with balls finally. These were the unexpected results of the European Group A. Even Nefani was shocked at how unexpectedly everything turned out in Group A. I feel like Group B will have no less surprises. In other regions, everything went more or less as expected. Greyhound and the Mongols made it to the major from Asia. Unfortunately, Lolba didn't make it to the coveted dream. In Americas, everything went according to plan. Furia defeated Pain in the upper bracket and advanced to the Legends stage. Pain, Liquid, Complexity and Fluxo are in the Challengers stage. The Brazilians from Fluxo were simply in tears after winning the match to make it to the major. And that's all for today, my friends. The most interesting part is yet to come. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything CSGO related. See you soon.